This is the MyComm final video for the Hackaday Prize 2016. Today we live in a connected world. It's easier now to connect and communicate across the globe than ever before, whether it's through our computers or increasingly more commonly through our mobile phones and portable devices. But how often does that connection break? Looking at local coverage maps for cell phone coverage in the United States, of course, the major cities are covered, but there are clear areas where the signal can be described as patchy at best, and further areas with no signal at all. Cell phone networks obviously have to prioritise the areas where they want to make money. But what happens when you're in one of those black spots and you need to communicate with someone desperately? We've all been in that position where cell phone coverage has let us down when we need it most. What happens when we're travelling outside of our high-tech bubble? Hill walking, camping, mountain climbing are all active sports and hobbies that tend to take people away from technology, and we're just talking about in the mainland US. What do we do when you want to communicate from India, countries in Africa, or even just the hillsides of Scotland? Everywhere across the globe there are large black spots of cell phone coverage, or, just as frustratingly, massive international charges for trying to communicate back home when you're travelling abroad. So what are our other options? Well, satellite coverage of the globe has been around since 1998 with the Iridium network. It has a fully global coverage map due to an array of 66 satellites constantly moving overhead. However, it's tended to be expensive in the past to use the Iridium network. With the MyComm, we want to tap into this global communications network in a hacker-friendly way, providing a device that can be used across the globe, whether you need to get in contact while in the middle of the Nevada, or you just want to tell your family that you've arrived safe and sound off the plane in Australia. The MyComm isn't here to replace your smartphone, but it's something small you can keep with you as an added peace of mind, so that when you do want to get a message out, you always can. So here's a brief summary of how we got on. When we first started on the MyComm, we weren't sure what direction to go in. We made a number of mock-up designs in 3D CAD to get an idea of sizing using a variety of off-the-shelf parts and potentially imagining what we could do with custom parts. In the earliest stages we wanted to look at using a hardware keyboard. It turns out that hardware keyboards are very bespoke to devices. You can't just buy them off the shelf. So we chose to go with a touchscreen interface for ease of early prototyping to explore what we could get away with. Our team have backgrounds in the satellite industry, so we're aware of a great hacker-friendly Iridium modem supplied by Rock7 called the Rock Block. We knew that for early prototyping we could use this modem to send and receive messages quickly and easily, so we focused on the unknowns to start. Further parts of our background include working with the Teensy 3.1 boards. We were able to quickly build a working interface using the Teensy and an Adafruit touchscreen. And apparently Hackaday liked this, as we were in the top 20 for the Anything Goes competition. When the automation competition came up, it gave us a further idea for the MyComm. Because of the power and ease of use of the Teensy, we still had a number of pins left over. So if we kept those pins available for our users, then hackers could make use of this to do all sorts of cool remote projects without having to worry about how to get the data back. We could now use the MyComm to send a variety of sensor data back, and it has the potential to be reactive to certain conditions. Say for example, a spike in a Geiger counter could trigger the MyComm to send a message, or our users could trigger a relay by sending a message to the MyComm itself. We spent the next few weeks working on the back end of the MyComm. We had our 3D designs made up on a 3D printer and they came out brilliantly. We started testing messages sending and receiving and building our web server. Things really picked up and we built the first working prototype. The first prototype was made up in the build log. It does everything we could hope for at this point. Sending and receiving messages, running from battery power, and the GUI is fully usable. The assistive tech competition reminded us to take stock of what we're aiming for. When our tech works, it's great, but when it lets us down it can have severe consequences. I'm not saying the MyComm is a life-saving device. We have a long way to go before that. However, what we want to say is that if people are prepared for the worst, then maybe we can avoid situations like this. And maybe the MyComm can give people the ability and peace of mind that when they need help, they can get it. It's pretty common now for some kids and young adults today to go on backpacking adventures across the globe. Whether it's Thailand, Australia, or the tiniest islands of Fiji, the MyComm could be a safety net where your kids can message home no matter where they are in the world. That's why we created an emergency mode on the MyComm, a single button held that works without the touchscreen to send a help message that goes out to your most trusted friends and family, with a GPS tagged location to help them help you. Part of the plan is to make a simplified, compact device that's sole purpose is to be this emergency trigger. Keep a MyComm in your bag and then it's there when you need it. Our latest development has been the second prototype. It's a sleeker package that fits more comfortably in your hand. We want to take this further, and we think we have a shot at creating a truly useful device. We have some ways to go still. We want a simple charging method built into the device, whether it's solar or possibly even a hand crank to make the MyComm less dependent on being charged. We need to explore the pricing to make it easily available as possible. However, we're obviously doing something right. We've been in the top 20 for the past 3 monthly categories of the Hackaday prize, and we hope you'll consider us for the final. Thank you for the opportunity to build something we think matters.